but to other stories that this new Labor government is already building that could actually destroy the Liberals for a decade if they are not careful. This is a huge challenge for Liberal leader Peter Dutton. I think he's smart enough to fight it, but it's going to be very, very tough. Now, you can see this attack coming from the new ministry that Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced yesterday, and we went through most of the changes last night. Predictably, I'll focus on the important ones here. Predictably, global warming zealot Chris Bowen is the new climate change minister. So they're going to go full blast on that. More surprising was that Albanese appointed no fewer than 3 people to push his plan to change our constitution, to create a kind of advisory parliament just for Aborigines, called The Voice. There wasn't just Linda Burney as Minister for Indigenous Australians, there's also Malarndirri McCarthy as her Assistant Minister, with Pat Dodson, the Special Envoy for Reconciliation, and on this Voice. Now that tells you they're really going to push hard on this racist proposal, The Voice. And even more surprising though, Albanese also named Matt Thistlethwaite as Assistant Minister for the Republic, the first we've ever had. And he did that 2 days before the Queen starts celebrating her Platinum Jubilee to mark 70 years of service. Now the Queen, I should point out, is 96. And let's be blunt, she could very well die during this Albanese government, giving us the ludicrous King Charles. And that means that Albanese, a Republican, will be perfectly poised then to argue for an Australian Republic when the Queen goes. He's got the Assistant Minister already there, spending public money on the cause with his team of bureaucrats. Now, I think all this is going to be a huge problem for the Liberals. For the Liberals to fight Labor on all those 3 fronts of this cultural war, global warming, The Voice, and the Republic, sounds almost like suicide. It risks making them seem stuck-in-the-mud reactionaries. And already Labor is challenging Dutton to be on the right side of history. Well, the thing is that Peter Dutton, well, he knows many Liberals don't actually have the guts to stand up and fight when you've got a call like that. They won't resist. In fact, many Liberal MPs actually back Labor's crusades. So Dutton has a massive challenge, despite promising the Liberal Party is going to be true to our values. That's what he said, true to our values. And is so far moving cautiously. Last night on the show, you might have noticed, he refused to rule out this Voice idea outright. You know, an Aboriginal-only advisory parliament, an idea that even Malcolm Turnbull had rejected on principle as racist. So he said he would consider whatever Labor finally put up, claiming, hoping it might actually be watered down, hoping that buys him time to talk the Liberals round. But how can a Liberal actually compromise with any step at all towards racial division when their party is founded in a belief in the individual? So, my tips. I tip Dutton will, or must, oppose The Voice, at least in the way that Labor wants it. And I believe he could be strong enough to do it. Because if the Liberals surrender on that, really, what on earth is Liberal about them? He also will, or must, oppose Labor's more radical global warming push. Because Dutton obviously needs Labor to own the pain that that will cause, making him the man to call when, as he says, there's a huge mess to clean up in 3 years, and there will be. But on the Republic, I think bets are off. Resisting all 3 of Labor's crusades may be one too many. Besides, as Dutton says, he leads the Liberal Party, not the Conservative Party, and there's nothing intrinsically liberal about being a monarchist. Now, while the monarchy works for us, and it's worked beautifully, great. If it crumbles under Charles being such an activist, some people might reasonably say, why keep it? Still, here we go, the Liberals still fighting battles picked by Labor. That's so often the case, isn't it? The Liberals have failed for years to have the vision or the guts to start some inspiring cultural battle of their own. Now, perhaps Dutton could pull off that trick, because just waiting there for 3 years with a broom and a dustpan to clean up Labor's mess, I don't think it's going to be enough.